Today I'm going to give you 4 marketing tips to keep you busy during slow season. After all, you've got a slow season. I know you do. Do you know it? Have you tracked your numbers? Did you find out when that is? And if so, what are you going to do about it? The first thing you need to do is identify when that slow season is. Do you track month by month your numbers, your sales numbers, your number of calls taken, your number of calls closed? Just some basic marketing and sales information, where your jobs came from. I mean, in Florida, it can be a little bit easier to track your slow season because it's about 30–40% less populated during the summertime than it is in the winter. But there are definitely better ways to track it than just guessing. And then once you see these trends, it's a lot easier to know what to do. For instance, yes, we noticed a big drop off in our carpet cleaning business after June once school let off for about 3 weeks or so. I think maybe right when school goes out. I don't know exactly, but I think that's when a lot of people plan vacations. So I just would notice that was a slow season for us. There was a few weeks there where, hey, we better have some money saved up. We better do some specials. And what we're going to talk about is how you fill in some of those gaps when you know it's going to be a little bit slow, but now you can plan ahead for it and not just react to it. Because the other thing that we saw was slow season. All of a sudden, these people that you hadn't seen all year start coming to these marketing groups, and they haven't built any relationships, and they just think they're going to show up to these marketing events and start getting referrals all of a sudden for the next 3 weeks that they're dead. And it just doesn't work that way. Then they say, oh, marketing doesn't work, that group doesn't work, or whatever it is. But it's because they didn't plan ahead. Like Mr. Ziegler says, you got to plan to win and prepare to win. And then, and only then, can you expect to win. So what I want you to do is be thinking ahead of time when these times are and what you can do, and not just be in reaction mode of, hey, we're slow, I got to drum up business, because that rarely works. You're not going to build a relationship. It may take weeks, months, sometimes even years to build that relationship where those people want to give you referrals. You're not going to do that in one event. So what can you do? Number 1, we're going to give you four tips. Number 1, start asking for reviews. When that client smiles and says how happy they are, that is the moment to say, hey, would you mind leaving us a review real quick? Don't wait. A lot of these people, if at all, but a lot of these companies, trades companies, will send an email 3 days later, 2 days later, the next day. And sometimes we would do the next day if they didn't respond the first time. And that's okay. It's better than nothing. A lot of people don't ask at all. But what we find is, what research has shown, if you ask at that moment, right when they're happy, when they got that smile on their face, that looks really good. That's the moment to ask for the review, when you're most likely to get it. Number 1, ask for reviews in the right moment. Number 2, the we're in your neighborhood messaging. Now, if you get what you need to, start collecting email addresses from your clients. Start collecting email addresses from your prospects. I'm hoping you're doing that already, but if you're not, you need to have a good CRM that has this. And sometimes you can locate by area, like maybe area code at the worst, zip code. Sometimes you can go by neighborhood, more specific. But when you're about to do a job or go on a quote in a certain neighborhood and you have some notice, you have a couple days notice at least, shoot out a message. Hey, we're going to be in your neighborhood on Tuesday. If you've been waiting to get a quote on something, now's the perfect time. Or, hey, you did this last year, we're going to be in your neighborhood again. Why don't we stop by on Tuesday and get it? And it doesn't even have to be connected to a special offer. It can be if you want it to be. But also just sometimes that we're in your neighborhood messaging just is a nice excuse to trigger that inside them that, hey, we have been needing this done for a while. We've been needing these gutters cleaned for a while, and they're already going to be across the street. Let's just get it done while they're here. So that's a great messaging. You can do that on your Facebook page. Again, your email newsletter is a great way. If you've got permission to text, texting is an awesome way to do that too. Location-specific messaging like that can be very powerful. Number 3, dead leads. What are you doing with leads that didn't respond for weeks, maybe months? How do you reopen that? Well, it doesn't have to be this formal, hey, I never heard back from you. You don't want to just be like, hey, they're ghosting you. Let's just either ignore them or try to call them out. We don't need to do that. We can just do a nice subtle, hey, just checking in. I've got some availability coming up this coming week. We've been really swamped, but I've got some free time coming up. Are you still interested in going forward with this project? No pressure. Don't start hounding them. Don't start texting them over and over again. Send them that one little message. You're just throwing out the line, throwing out the bait, and just see if you get a bite. You'll be surprised how many of these dead leads you can reactivate, and maybe even just start the conversation if they're not ready yet, but at least you've started the conversation again. And you can do a couple things here. If you're not the right fit and there's something you're doing wrong, sometimes you can pick up on that from these messages. But a lot of times you're going to be surprised how many people they were putting it off, and now that you're reminding them, they're going to just go ahead and do it. And worst case, they don't do it, and you're just back where you were before. There's not really a lot of risk here. So you might as well try it. You've already spent a lot of money on that lead, a lot of time maybe doing a sales presentation. Maybe you spent gas on that, going out there and looking at the project already. So why not just follow up? What's the harm? Number 4, the last one, a slow season special. And I like to do this one to past clients. Say, hey, I want to keep our guys busy. It's July. We don't have a lot of work booked up. So if you book, and you can or can't say that. I've done both, and it didn't really make a huge difference either way. Don't be afraid to admit you're in slow season to your customers. Some of them probably have figured out that's why you're sending the special, but some of them don't. But just say, hey, from July 1st to 31st, it can even be July 1st to the 14th. We're going to give you 10% off if you book during this time period, and only during this time period. Now, occasionally, yes, you're going to get somebody that says, hey, I did this last month, and you can address that as you need to. It may or may not be an issue. Just a lot of it's just in the wording, and you can just be like, hey, I understand that. We're trying to keep our guys busy. This is our slowest time of year. When you book during the busiest time of year, we can't offer you that kind of pricing. But this is the kind of pricing we're able to offer now because we need to keep our guys busy. And sometimes some customers will wait for that time of year, and that's okay. If they're a good customer, you've worked with them several times. Now, I don't like offering it to a new customer that I've never worked with because I don't want to attract a price shopper that's just looking for a special. I don't like to just randomly promote specials on Facebook or something like that. Now, occasionally, if it's a really, 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 really slow month, I would, but I don't want the first impression that the reason somebody chose me was because of a special, because often the people that choose a company based on a special are not a loyal customer. They may not appreciate the quality of the work that you're doing. They may not use you over and over again because the next time they're just going to look for the next coupon. And we've done that before on things, we've probably personally done that on things that aren't as important to us, but we don't want to be that not as important to them type of customer. So be careful on offering that to first-time customers, but I like to offer repeat customers those kind of specials, those, hey, use this again and we'll give you a discount, or it's our slow season, we're giving a discount this month. So keep that in mind as a way to fill the calendar. And again, have a good CRM, and don't be afraid to do snail mail. Snail mail is attractive nowadays because honestly, we don't get that much anymore. We used to be swarmed with it, but with the cost of postage and just a lot of companies, when it was so popular, there was so much of it, it wasn't as effective. But now that there's less of it, you can really stand out if you do a well-placed snail mail ad and you do certain types that are better than others. You don't want to be just in a coupon book kind of thing. So don't be afraid of snail mail. Don't be afraid to have an email newsletter that goes out, I like at least weekly. Now, even if you're, let's say, a roofing business and they might only use you when they move every 5 years or 10 years, it's okay to have them on a weekly email newsletter as long as you're delivering value in that newsletter. Maybe you have some things about the community. Maybe you have some kind of household tips, something that keeps them opening that, because you're still staying on the top of their mind awareness. And when somebody asks for a referral, you become when I think of toothpaste, I think of Colgate or Crest. When I think of toilet paper, I think of Charmin. When I think of this, I think of this. And I want you to be on the top of their minds. So when they think of your industry, they think of you. So even if they're not using you every year or every 6 months or whatever it is, maybe it's a once in a while thing, you're still at the top of the mind. And they can always unsubscribe, and that's okay. But add them to that email list, because then you have these marketing opportunities like this, and you're building this relationship, building this trust over time. Maybe you even get to be known throughout the community. People would sometimes say to my wife and I, hey, I know you, I'm on your email list. They recognize your picture from that bottom of that email. So do these things, build your email list, build your snail mail list. You can tag in your email program, if you have a good CRM, tag by certain categories. Hey, this person lives in this neighborhood, or this person did this kind of service, and so I want to follow up with everybody that did that. And you're going to send out these kind of reminder emails. Text has a great response rate. Just, again, be careful, use discretion with text. Now, how do you build a great business? You have your small business and you build it really consistently. You do these right things over and over again. You don't panic during slow season because you've prepared for slow season. You've looked 12 months out. You've looked several years back and said, I know during this time and this time, it's a little bit slower than the rest of the year. So what are we going to do to make sure this year is our best slow month yet? And then you can create a game plan far in advance. Sometimes we would have mailers prepared months in advance for our slow season, and we knew who to send those to. We knew what kind of messaging we wanted because we were prepared. Once you have this information, it becomes easier to plan. Sometimes the plans write themselves once you have the right information. So that's what I'm encouraging you to do, is get that information, track that information, know your numbers. If you're not good at knowing your numbers, like a lot of small business owners, find somebody that'll help you with that. Get accountability for that. Maybe you need a bookkeeper. Maybe you need somebody on your team that's very good at details that can be part of that. But I encourage you, because small moves, consistently done well, create great businesses. And I want you to have a great business. So I'm Jeremy with Phenomenal Business Coaching. Please like and subscribe to our YouTube page. If you've made it this far in the video, thank you. I appreciate you watching. And we're going to deliver more and more great content. Get on our email list if you're not already, skilllevelup.com, and I will talk to you soon.